channel memberships are not something I've historically tried to push or sell to people, but I decided it might be interesting and a little fun if I did maybe some exclusive video content, and maybe I'll share the content later for others on the channel. I haven't decided on that part yet. So let's just call this a test run. This is June 29th, 2024 as I record this one. And I'm just going to take you down the rabbit hole with me a little bit. As I was doing some of my research, I decided this would be kind of a fun video to do and share a little of what I'm thinking, digging into. So let's start here. This is an old legal case with Dole Food Company. And the reason I looked this up is John Welborn, who's written extensively on naked shorting and fails to deliver, who's very well versed with these things, had talked about it. And so I pulled this up, and I'll do what I do on a typical video. I'll link these things in the description so you can check them out for yourself as well. But this, what really caught my eye, this is the overview concept, is the key for me. And the overview of this is the depository trust company paid out merger proceeds. Now, here's the way that I look at this and think about this. Back in the day, they used to actually transact and trade the physical stock certificates. But in this electronic era, this new age, we don't do that anymore. And so the DTC is supposed to handle all that. So my view is they're supposedly holding the actual underlying stock certificates that have been issued. Here's the problem. And this is a wonderful example, which is why I wanted to share it. And I'm glad that John Welborn referenced it. Is according to the centralized ledger for the depository trust company, they reflected almost 37 million outstanding shares for Dole Food Company. And more than 32 million of those shares changed hands in the 3 days before this merger closed. And this is why there was a class action suit, I think is what it was, brought in this case, because during the settlement claims process, stockholders submitted facially valid claims for over 49 million shares. That's over 12 million more than what the DTC was showing on their ledger. And they never really reconciled this. And so some money was given out additionally to the shareholders, but this was never accurately depicted. And so my thinking is this: if a stock or a company that had stock certificates of supposedly only 37 million had an inordinately large amount with another roughly 13 million, that's a big percentage. And so then if you start thinking about a company with a lot more shares outstanding like NIO, and then you think about the fact that NIO is traded across global markets and in Europe, and we're going to talk about Europe in just a second, because we're also going to talk about the minus 3x, the triple leverage negative, the short mechanism. And NIO is actually one of the top 5, it looks like, at least in one of the places where it's being traded over there in Europe. And I don't have access. I haven't dug and found all the fails to deliver data over in Europe or that sort of thing. I did spend some time looking and couldn't find stuff that made me sufficiently happy to share it. So I'll share what I did find. But this is only the US market that fails to deliver data. This is the history of NIO. I've talked about it extensively. I probably don't have to say too much, but I will, just in case somebody hasn't seen some of the other previous video or data that I've shared on this. The idea for me is really simple. The white lines represent fails to deliver. That's when there could have been made up fake, shares that don't even exist in real life. And we've seen just from the Dole case, it happens. And so this is when those were reported. But there's a delay on reporting. There are allowances for market makers. There is a market maker that is also a short in NIO called Citadel. And I've called them a suspicious short for the last few years, dating back to, I think, late 2021. But the white lines represent when shares couldn't be located, and that was reported. The yellow represents the price for NIO stock. And you just see I love this chart because it's about the clearest indicator that I can find or have seen for a stock that seems to really be correlated between this, the negative stock price action and the spiking of these fails to deliver. This is the only time frame where fails to deliver really dropped off, and you saw the NIO stock price took off and stayed up until they started popping up again, and then it came back down as the fails to deliver spiked back up, and they remain high even at this point in time. Now, this is lagging data. We never get real-time data. This is one of the issues with it, and one of the reasons I prefer maintaining the view of a long-term investor because it's just so hard. We never get the real-time data accurately shared with us. And so not knowing how much is delayed, how much is wrong, how much is, I mean, we don't even know if we're seeing true price action based on some of these things. And so that's why I just want to have awareness of it. Now, you'll notice I didn't agree to this. I didn't want to share my data with a lot of these places. This is just, I don't like to if I don't have to. So I'll just point out the things. This is one of the things I came across, Citadel Advisors, LLC. They had 7, I think, short positions. And this is the top 5, according to this exchange or platform, the top 5 shares that are being shorted. And NIO is on this list. The Granite shares 3x triple leveraged negative. It's a short on the NIO daily ETP. Now, this is not the NIO ADR that we know of. This is not NIO being traded over in Singapore or China. So, these are, as far as I can tell, new creations that could be used to mess with stock price. And this being a popular short, I just want to have that awareness. Again, I'm just trying to kind of have these dots out there, have some awareness of it. I was curious, and so I tried to look this up on Fintel here in the US because, sorry, let me show you what I was looking up. I'll go back here and show you. So where was it? Down here, I think it caught my, here it is, the 3SNI. So that's what I plugged in to the Fintel right here. And this is what we got. So Granite Shares Financial PLC. And this is really interesting. This is back in June 5th of 2023. And it's talking about a reverse split, but I don't even think this is the actual, this is not NIO ADR. So I don't know what it is. When you click on it, this is what you find when you click that tab. And sorry, we couldn't find that page. We even searched the dark pools, which is where off-exchange trading happens. So just mind-boggling. We'll go back here and I'll show you because, well, I don't have to show you. If you believe me, and you can look this up anyway, I'll share the link. These other two show the same thing. Essentially, they're just like, yeah, we don't have any data for this. It's just in the system, apparently, from overseas in Europe, and there's no reconciliation for it. So, okay, all right, fine. It's just good to know this stuff. That's my thinking. Here's another platform, and this is the NIO S is what they've got at the LS, the London Exchange, I believe, is this one. Now, here's what I find kind of interesting on this part, or this piece, is it doesn't show the full NIO stock history, even though I tried to show it. So I'm wondering if this was created at a certain point in time. And if so, if that doesn't have something to do with the negative stock price action for NIO, the ADR, traded in the US since then. I'm just curious and wanted to share this. Again, you see I didn't accept because I don't want to share my data with them. Let's go to one more now, because this is on one of the leveraged share places. And I just wanted to show, again, obviously I'm not clicking this to agree. It's got the minus 3x, the negative triple leveraged NIO. And there are a lot of them on here. It's kind of interesting to see some of the ones on here. It's not everything. It's not all the market, but there are, I saw Xiaopeng or XPEV is on there, Tesla, BIDU, Palantir. It's just kind of interesting to look around in these rabbit holes, at least for me anyway. So I wanted to share this and do it in a bit of an exclusive content type of way. The other thing that I wanted to share, this is kind of the explanation for, so this is page 13. We'll come back to it. This is I was like, if this is the creation that they're coming up with, these short and leveraged ETPs is what they're calling them, these leveraged shares, and then they say, okay, what is an ETP? And so that this is kind of their breakdown and explanation of it. And page 13 is the point or where I wanted to kind of highlight, because they talk about essentially it's just another way to hedge, whether you're, if you want to go long and short, and you think in the short. So let's say Citadel, let's play this out. Let's say Citadel thinks that NIO is a winner in the long term. And so they have both a long and a short position, but in the short term, they think, or maybe even know, that they can get away with shorting the heck out of it and making short-term profits off of shorting, especially as if they're a market maker and they have a naked short exemption. There's that play. And then, of course, this is the European market, it looks like, where I don't, even when we tried to look some of this up on Fintel, we couldn't find it. So concept overview, this is all just so fascinating for me. And I wanted to share some of it, but I debated about, and I don't know if I'm going to release this as a public video. So for now, I'll just keep it as an exclusive video for channel members only. I hope you enjoy it. and I'll see you again. I'm not sure if I'll do this maybe once a month or something. And let's just see how it goes. It's just kind of a test phase for me, rolling this out to see how it goes. But anyway, thanks for the support on the channel. I appreciate it. Have a great day. I'll see you again very soon.